Hello, welcome back to SummoNerds. I'm Evan.
And I'm Matt.
And we've got another preview one for you today. We've got Matt playing Little Meda against Killercactus as Farrah, which is really cool to see him in action as Farrah. So all of you who had wondered how that deck should work, you're getting the master showing you.
Mm-hmm.
And Casey's getting another chance at Matt here on a different game when the summoners are not more evenly matched exactly, but more evenly matched in the sense that neither one of them's played them that many times. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm sure Casey's played Farrah a few times, but you've also played Meda a few times.
This is my second game as Meda.
Oh, I actually thought you played a few more.
Just
this one.
Yep.
Just this one, yeah. Well, in any case, we've got. I'm trying to figure out how the hands should look.
Third game, sorry, we played two.
That's okay. Yeah. We've got trying to figure out how the layout should look here a little bit for showing both hands. This time, because they were playing, I was able to just look at the hands, and that was great. So you get to see both of their hands. It's a little weird later because of how they decide to lay out their hands and how what space I had to show their hands. You'll see what I mean later. It's a little hard to see some of their stuff. I'm sorry about that. But, all right, so yeah, early on, we've got some movement. I believe Matt went first and moved the Nanny away from Little Meda. Bold choice.
Yep. I was thinking about Farrah's deck. I'm like, I don't think anything can go crazy on me in turn one to get down there. So I needed to free up that area so I could start running the Nanny meta combo. That's just how I envision this deck working anyway, where you go nuts with Nanny meta in the beginning until you can get your economy going.
Well, and they're quite effective together. The Nanny and Meta, I've noticed, are really just such an amazing early game force. So when you look at her starting setup here, you've noticed that she and Demagogue both start out with only 2 commons. But it's very different feeling than the Demagogue start, where you really need a mutation out quickly to be able to level the playing field.
Yeah.
The Nanny and Meta can just, they can hold out all day on their own.
Yeah, we've got, they're just a couple of powerhouses out here.
Especially because a lot of the events center on Little Meda. You don't always need the commons to do the heavy lifting for you.
Right. Now, it is, in one sense, when they're together, it's sort of like fighting an 8 health, 3 attack summoner. But when they're together, they also inhibit each other from moving a little bit.
Yes.
And they also can be attacked from 2 sides.
Yes.
So it's, they're...
Moving with them is the most important aspect of playing with them.
Yep. Interestingly, they appear to be fairly good band together targets. If we're thinking about the event band together.
Yes.
If we can get all the units in place, they can just do a solid beating to them if I were to get careless or something.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so right now I'm just trying to get... I don't want to attack that Heavy Knight with the Death Seeker because I'm just going to lose the Death Seeker 100% next turn.
Yep.
So I'm trying to save it as something to put a mutation on, or maybe use the Death Seeker on a later turn where it's more advantageous than just throwing 1 die at the Heavy Knight. So I'm just trying to get that out of the way, get the Heavy Knight in here. I'll take a shot at it with Nanny Meta. That's what I call them when they're together.
Nanny Meta.
Yeah.
Yes, and another interesting thing worth noting is when I've played Matt a couple games when he was Little Meda, Meta does not need the Nanny to be a powerhouse all in her own right. I was shocked. One of the games I took out Nanny kind of in the middle of the game. I was playing Millennitar, and he was able to come back very strong using just Little Meda and some mutations that he picked up along the way. But it's very hard to get the finishing blow on Little Meda when she's by herself. If she still has her Daddy I'm Scared.
Daddy I'm Scared. The 3 of those let her
huge.
Run around. Yep.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Meta and the Nanny are a great combination, but actually the Nanny is not necessary in that combo. Just useful. So, and we get an early Concarne from Farrah here, so that's excellent. Getting that early champion out has put him in some interesting position.
That's a great time to draw Concarne. I was kind of underrating him until I saw this position. Actually, I was like, "Oh, guys, this is kind of scary. Concarne with 4 health. I don't know what to do."
Yeah,
I can obviously take a shot at him, but he might just throw all the wounds on the augur, and he's not going to die, and he's only 3 magic, so he's going to get a solid 2 dice out here, and that Heavy Knight is also running up at me.
Yep.
So I'm already in a little bit of trouble. I don't have an economy yet.
Yeah. We haven't drawn into the Amoeba Mutant yet or anything like that.
And my hand is just drawing 0 cost left and right. So it's just
and you don't want to throw all those away because then you need them later
Yep.
and you've thrown them all away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a little bit of a danger to throw those commons into the...
I don't like to attack with heralds ever.
No.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all
sometimes
you
have to, but...
Well, and the Death Seekers are amazing in what they can do, stopping enemy units, but they're only so useful, and you're giving your opponent free magic.
Yeah, exactly. They just move something up there, and the Death Seeker's gone. But that's a really cool idea. I love both of these filled 0 cost units.
Oh my goodness,
in their
yes.
theme. It's exceptional. This deck is one of my favorites as well. I made a list of my favorites. I think you did too, Evan.
Yep.
I have this one at I think number 4. But it's very close to the other ones. Like all
of them are excellent. Oh my goodness,
they're all very close to each other.
I can't wait to own the physical copies and play hundreds of games with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got Meda putting down a wall, which is excellent. Defensive wall position there. Now he can't be surrounded. Now Matt can't be surrounded. Little Meda, I'm pretty sure, is a she. Not positive, but I would bet a little bit of money on that. Mm-hmm. And then so the Death Seeker closes off that other side, so Nanny can't get they can't get teamed up from both sides.
Right. So this is the I realize that the Death Seeker is not gonna get to that mutated spot that I wanted him to. Otherwise, Con Carne could run up and Nanny could sustain 4 wounds potentially.
Yeah.
Most likely what I would do is I just went 3 for 3 on that Heavy Knight before I go on, so that was a bit of a lucky roll there.
Yeah,
Not
that
supposed
was good.
to kill that Heavy Knight.
Good positioning there for you to be able to kill that.
So this is a very good instance of Betray because Death Seeker only did 1 wound, so he gets to keep that Augur, and Con Carne didn't take any damage. It's unlikely I'm going to reach that Augur.
Yep.
And he kept both Con Carne and the Augur alive. Con Carne didn't take any damage, so that was a good use of the Betray there.
Yeah, that's quite important. So Con Carne is fine, and he can run up and wreak havoc and probably live through the next turn as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you do have 3 magic, which is good to note. Trying to think of what mutants you could get out for that.
There's the
Springy Mutant?
can come out for 3
with 3 attack.
The gas filled can come out for 1 attack, but that's a 3 magic mutant. Those might be. Oh, the Amoeba is a 3 cost, but Amoeba very interesting card because you typically don't summon the Amoeba right away. He's just going to be used to keep the economy cycling.
Yep. We see an Invader come out. Con Carne is now an undercover agent.
He's disguised, but now he's an undercover.
Oh, now he's undercover. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the disguise, and then the Invader came out, and now he's undercover.
Yep. And also he's.
My hand I put put on the board, and I think neither Evan nor KC had their layout in a way that was able to view it from on the board. So now I'm just sticking it in my hand slot.
Now you got it. There we go. Yeah. So now KC can also see Matt's hand like we can. Before he just wasn't looking at Matt's hand. That's how we've been able to make these work in the past. It's kind of on the honor system that no one's going to look at the other person's hand unless they have an undercover agent.
Unless, my hand is just my hand is for the whole world to see.
So the Invader kills the Herald, which is to be expected. Farrah's going to try to kill the Augur here and has 1,000,000 dice to do it.
Yeah.
Farrah is a fascinating summoner because it is not hard to get her up to 4 or 5 attack.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's very simple. And with all in the base deck, we've got Lurkers for 0 cost.
Yep.
Changelings for 0. Everything else is very inexpensive.
Yep.
So it's very Augurs for 0. That was the other one. The one that was just killed. That one is for 0.
Yeah. It's easy to get your opponent's faction symbol, whatever your opponent might be. So if you're playing something that's not one of your commons, then you can still get their symbol easily.
That's
Disguise or something.
From the few games I've played with Farrah too, that's a difference in it's a slight difference in style. I actually like to keep my Augurs alive and kind of move Farrah up a little with Augurs connected to her, so that she gets the full effects of their benefit. I actually find myself killing off the Runesmith at the start, Not sure if that's the best idea or not. I just like to kill it because then it gives the changeling something to do from your discard.
Yeah, well, and Farrah herself, again, is just such a powerful summoner most of the time, at least with her base deck. It depends on how you build her, for sure, but with her base deck, what I've seen is Farrah rarely rolls less than 3. It would be very unusual for her to roll less than 3 dice, but oftentimes she's rolling 4. And so she can kill commons left and right. She's a match for most champions, and she's deadly against summoners. So you got to watch out for Farrah herself.
Yep.
But what we've got right now is some defensive walls going down, another defensive wall, and the Herald or the Death Seeker kills the Invader, and the Herald does not kill the Death Seeker.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting the Herald to. It was just I was like, I prefer the spot the Herald in as opposed to the Death Seeker, but I need another magic.
Yep.
So I was gonna try for the Death Seeker first, hopefully get 2 hits, but I didn't get it. So then I just whacked him with Nanny instead.
You got the Tusk Mutant in your hand there, which is excellent.
That was my goal. Just get to the 5 so I can summon the Tusk Mutant. It's one of the scariest mutants there is. It's such an amazing card. I love it.
It's so cool. And we see Lucestor going down.
Yep.
And that's big. He's my favorite champion in this deck by a great deal. What you can't see also in Casey's hand is he still has Mingle. He's had Mingle the entire game. The way that their hands were laid out, it was really hard to see all of them, and I didn't want to zoom out so far that you couldn't see the cards well, so I'm sorry about that, but you'll see it again occasionally when I move the hand around.
Yeah, Lucestor, not sure about the pronunciation on that one, but I also love that card as well. Mingle, though, is probably my favorite champ of the deck just because of the synergy he has with all the other events. I just like him. I like him. The image of him shape-shifting into something, and then
Yeah, I'm not sure about the pronunciation either, so I'm just going to pick one and kind of go with it, or maybe I'll switch between them annoyingly the whole time. But Lucestor is just my favorite. I think there are uses for that card in every Summoner Wars deck, potentially. He's a cheap champion with range. He has flight, so he can go over things, and he's really hard to hit. So he's got infinite health against certain commons.
Yep. I think a very effective counter-building champion, for sure, if you're like playing a heavy melee faction.
Yeah,
I think,
playing against Sunderbed or something.
Like the Filth.
Yeah,
I think against the especially these base decks, I think I have let's see, Little Meda, Death Seekers, and the Blood Spray.
Yeah.
Are those the 3?
Oh, maybe the Nanny, right? I think it's
Nanny.
Yeah.
And Nanny can do it.
Just commons that can't hit. So, but almost everything else though is that can't hit him at all.
Yep.
So, and like Malenitar's deck, that's all of Malenitar's commons in the base deck cannot hit Lucestor. So
we're saying some funny things over in the text. It looks like.
So we had a couple problems here with Matt and KC crashing out, so it's a bit of a problem. Yes.
In case you can see my hand as soon as I can.
So he sees that amoeba come up there and he thinks, "Crud, that's the magic economy coming up right now."
I just want to take a second to say how cool that is. The revealing hand aspect is just even. I just find it even fun playing against. I think it creates kind of a funny scenario too, where you're like. Because all your options are laid bare at the same time, so you're not fooling anybody.
Yep.
So it's just very clear what you're gonna do. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, it leads to some very funny conversations.
Yeah.
I've definitely enjoyed that element as well. The Tusk Mutant's gonna come up there and just.
So I sent out my big health mutant because everything else looks like it's coming at me. That anyone who's anybody's coming at Little Meda. So I sent the Tusk Mutant down. Get rid of the little fellas. Obviously, this could backfire a little bit here. I wasn't necessarily thinking of this, but definitely a well-timed band together could really obliterate that Tusk Mutant.
Yep.
So my goal was to just send him out, draw some attention.
Yep.
That's what I want to do with the Tusk Mutant. Maybe get a few kills out of there.
A well-timed band together here too could put some hurt on you with Lucestor and Concarne there on Little Meda. It could.
Well, yeah, they because Concarne is disguised. It would just be one extra attack die, I think.
He could summon something else though. Is I guess also possibility. But what could end up happening, which would be scary, is he'd get enough dice. He could possibly generate enough dice to kill Nanny this turn if he rolls well. If he summoned another unit with some kind of faction symbol, maybe if he summons a changeling and then gets a runesmith on top of it, something like that, and then runs up with that.
That's still only, I guess, with Con Carne that makes it one more each, right?
Let me think.
Because he's disguised, so he gives the runesmith +1. The runesmith gives him +1. So that's one more each for both of them.
Yeah, I guess that's true because the runes or the changeling no longer has its.
Mm-hmm. Now, if they both went 3 for 3, then it would kill Nanny in one turn. If that was the case.
Yeah, that's true because you'd have to both go 3 for 3 because otherwise you would just keep some on Little Meda.
Yep.
You keep some wounds on Little Meda. It's actually pretty advantageous to do that in general. To keep a few wounds on Little Meda.
Yep. Anytime I'll typically take 2 wounds from her because there's gifts from Daddy's her ability, right? It's Daddy Loves Me is the name of the event card that heals her for 2. So that's wounds that potentially don't exist once you draw the card. So if you think about them that way, they're like, those wounds didn't happen. I mean, they're there until you get the card, but that's just how I think about it. I'm like, those wounds aren't real because I'll draw that card and. Of course, I'll have plenty of time to do that. This is how my mind works.
Absolutely.
But sometimes, of course, that could be bad. You could just lose that way.
Well, and here we go, rolling on this Tusk Mutant with what he had, and he gets 3 wounds on it.
So so that was not as that wasn't as bad as it could have been at all. So the Tusk Mutant lives. I'm like, oh shoot, 3 wounds.
Yep. On
my Tusk, but
also here real fast. Casey went ahead and wanted to put a disguise on his runesmith just to get it out of his hand. That's worth noting that's a really great strategy to put something like that on a runesmith because it's occasionally an extra slot in your hand or something because as soon as the runesmith dies for any reason, that's going right back into your hand.
Yep.
So it's just a way to get it out of the way if you don't want it. But not lose the card permanently. It's not like building it to magic.
Definitely. Disguise is in no danger underneath that runesmith.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, that disguise will go back to the hand if that runesmith is removed from the board in any way.
And I did something here. Matt needed to resync, so I was worried that maybe I had to resync because I didn't know what the problem was, so I went ahead and resynced real fast. Now we're back up. We're running.
I guess the danger of something like that is if we all 3 decided we had to resync, or all 4 of us, that the room didn't exist anymore. So,
if we all resynced somehow simultaneously, that'd be an issue.
Yeah.
But so what we've got now is that Tusk Mutant is in an interesting position because if you remember, there's a specific mutant that can do some damage to the units around it when it dies. Matt's using gifts from Daddy to get the Blade Mutant, and then thinking about switching it to the Blade to kill it for the magic, so that he can just get the Tusk Mutant back into his hand and still get the 2 magic. And then he realizes his mistake.
Yeah, so that was my first thought, and then I made a comment, I'm a fool, because I have a much better play. I don't have the Gas-Filled Mutant, but I do have a particular event card that can let me get it and then summon a mutation on another mutation during the event phase.
Yeah.
So that's specifically, I want a new toy. In fact, that might have even been the original idea behind the original use plan behind the card.
For the gas mutant.
Because it's like such a great combo for that spot, and it's just taken me a while to get all the mutants reorganized.
Yeah, that was just an oversight, but you fixed it, thank goodness. And so now the gas mutant's going to come out. And so you're looking through your deck here, it's taking you some time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the other thing. Looking through the deck,
you would not believe though, folks. This game, when you see this edited version and it's an hour and 11 minutes, the actual game took 2 hours and 40 minutes to play, and I sat there and watched it and then edited it to pieces so that you could all watch it in relative comfort and not sit there through 2 hours and 40 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah.
So
and some occasional crashing out.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, if anyone has any thinks this is too fast or something, if there's anything that you couldn't tell what was happening because it was too quick, let me know, I guess, so I can know not to. Vassal games are nice because I can speed up even the the slower parts of the average turn, like the attacking and the moving, can even be relatively fast because it all is so easily visually represented. So if I'm moving too fast, just tell me. But I thought this was okay for this game.
Yep. I made a slight error there. I'm trying to. Oh yeah, because I didn't pay to get a mutant, so I didn't get Amoeba back into my hand.
Yep.
So my initial plan was like, I use Amoeba, of course, that was a no-brainer, and then I could continue to get the gas mutant. But because I did something else first and then went back to do the gas mutant, I forgot to spend the Amoeba to get him back.
Did you have 6 magic this whole turn anyway?
No, that was from everything just dying.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking to myself, if you had even 5, you could summon off that forward wall and Tusk mutant up to Farrah.
No, because the Tusk mutant was over there wounded. This is the same turn.
Right, because that's what I was thinking to myself as we were discussing it. But because you can't just continually summon lots of mutants during the event phase with I want a new toy.
Yeah, just the one. Just the
one you get, which is important. Doesn't allow you to just summon anything during the event phase.
Yeah. And interestingly, it doesn't let you summon a mutation onto a common unit, only a mutation onto a mutation. You can't just make a mutant onto a common during the event phase.
It's all very specific and important, but all very useful
really cool.
in the correct situation. Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got Mingle still in Casey's hand and a Changeling, so we can do some things with that. He obviously can't use Mingle right now because he doesn't have the magic for it. Matt's clearly economically in a better position. 14 cards in his deck, 7 in his magic. Casey's got 10 cards in his deck and 1 in his magic. But Casey does have 2 champs out, and has to Matt's 1, and just has more things on the board in general.
Yep. Con Carne is a threat undercover because he's going to keep all that health until he wants to get rid of it.
Yep.
So.
And Luke Store is hard to hit, unless Little Meda does it herself, pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially from this positioning, it would be hard for the Nanny to come up and do it for her.
Yeah, and I'm not fooling anybody with Daddy I'm Scared in my hand.
Yeah.
So that's just always going to be an option for me. So it's interesting. You just kind of you have to play knowing that your opponent is going to know what you do. So you just have to put yourself in a position where they can't take advantage no matter what they do.
Yep. You mitigate the risk to yourself every turn.
Yeah.
And that's just what you have to do. But you're still very much able to play against them, and there's only so much they can do against you. As you can see here, Little Meda still has 0 wounds on her, as does the Nanny. So we've got a Changeling right in the front and a Changeling on the side, which is an interesting play. And man, Matt, your defensive walls that game were great for Nanny Meta. That little passageway in the middle there through all the walls was very useful for you. Oh, and an invader going down.
Yep. So here's another invader. I believe is that the second invader? The second of 3?
I believe.
Yeah.
So that's important in Farrah's base deck to note that she only has 3 of everything, so it's easy to count what you're up against. And invaders in particular are important to count. And Casey just summoned a lot that turn. Oh, and a band to get. Oh no, inside info. Inside info. Very,
very scary card. And you don't know if they take one of yours. You just don't know what it is.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So
it is an amazing event.
Searching through Matt's hand. Matt's asking him not to take anything cool.
Yeah. I want all my cool stuff.
But yeah.
Joe wants you to break the rules and take all of the cards.
Yeah, what Casey's really hoping here to get is the Daddy Loves Me. That would be excellent to get for Farrah, because it takes away one of his most powerful events, and I believe Farrah can actually use it. Right?
Daddy Loves Me might specifically say Little Meda on the card, because I know Daddy Doesn't Like You specifically mentions Little Meda on the card. Her events might be tailored to just her.
Either way, just being able to steal away your ability to take 2 wounds off yourself would be
Farrah playing Daddy I'm Scared is kind of funny.
It is kind of amazing. Thematically, none of those make a lot of sense. But in any case, yeah, Farrah with Inside Information is just, that's such a cool card. It's like Spy, but so much better. better in a more fun way. At least it's so much more fun to use for both players, honestly. Because losing something and you don't know what you lost, and your opponent might be able to play it against you. That's just such a cool feeling to have to worry about that. Then you have to think about, what did they take? Was it important? Was it a champion? Was it one of my commons that they can use against me in some spectacular way?
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, it can also be used to take from the opponent's discard pile. So you can bring back a dead champion or anything from their discard pile. You can take one of their champions, one of their... If I had my mutants just lying around sleeping in the discard pile, just thinking they were safe, well, they're not, because they can be taken with the inside info.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, but so I didn't, because I haven't really drawn many mutations, and the Tusk is on the top of my magic pile, and the Amoeba's still in there, the Blade mutants in there, they're all in there. They're all just.
Thank goodness for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they can't be taken. The reason I discarded the Tusk in that specific order so that I could then pay for him and get him right back with the gifts from Daddy.
Yep. So Luke Gastor hits Little Meda there, 2 for 2. And then Concarne has gotten rid of his undercover, so he's going for Little Meda as well. So now the Nanny has to take that one, and then the Invader attacks Nanny. So both of them have 2 wounds now. Get some action on them.
So that was me. That was me prioritizing Meta for the wound taking. So she took the first 2, thinking that I'll draw the Daddy Loves Me card and heal those at some point. So might as well keep Nanny alive. I'm using Little Meda as a tank for Nanny is what I'm doing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's wise because Nanny cannot heal herself.
Right.
So you might as well keep what wounds you can on Meta, as long as your opponent isn't able to separate you from Nanny, which is hard to do. It's probably better to let some wounds go on Meta.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then... So he's got the interesting position there with the Changeling moving up the side. That could definitely become something later. What I've noticed is he's really trying for the surround around both sides of the walls there. He doesn't want you to be able to wiggle Little Meda out of there and just be totally safe.
Right.
Which is wise. He has to get somewhere. He has to get around your walls somehow. So you're using gifts from Daddy. For
the undercover's on that Changeling, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why
currently the undercover's on that Changeling.
Yeah. So I'm using gifts, pay the Tusk Mutant. Now I'm going to get the Tusk Mutant. Works very similar to Rhett Talus's ability.
Yep.
Now, interestingly, what you can't do with gifts from Daddy is if the Amoeba is on top and there are no mutants in the discard pile, you can't pay the Amoeba to take the Amoeba from the discard pile because he never actually got there.
Yeah.
So you can't actually spend him to get him back because you're not spending it for anything.
Yeah, because the Amoeba's ability prioritizes over the gifts from Daddy.
Right.
So it goes back to your hand, and you can't take anything, and you can't use her ability if there's no card to be taken.
Right. You can't just pay magic. You can't pay magic for nothing on a turn.
So that's an interesting and odd scenario that can come up with the Amoeba Mutant. So you have to watch for that in your games.
But you can always grab one from the magic pile with the Amoeba Mutant.
Yes.
But
all right.
So now I've got the Tusk back out.
That thing is so scary.
Yeah.
You pay a lot of magic to recycle that sucker.
But when he comes back out, oh man, he's back at full health.
Yep. You've got Daddy I'm Scared, so you can keep Little Meda right up near the action.
More importantly to me than just getting to reuse the Tusk Mutant is to keep it out of Farrah's discard pile.
Yep.
Because I don't want a Changeling turning into that thing.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, you'd have to pay the full 5 for it, but that's
just
that's
like
what you're paying. Exactly. That's exactly what you're paying. So that's a bargain because then he's able to use it.
Yeah.
And think about that with Band Together.
Yep.
And its ability triggering at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
Savage Gore plus Band Together.
Yeah, possibly with invaders popping out. Who knows?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the dice that could be thrown that turn.
Yeah, but because this is base deck play, I'm definitely counting every single thing that comes out here. Yep. I'm looking at the invaders like, okay, that's the second one.
Yep.
So I'm not going to be taken by... I'm probably not going to be taken by surprise by that third one. Like, I'm definitely not going to get invader hoarded, is what I'm thinking. Now, that's not entirely true because there are ways for Farrah to get the invaders back.
Yep.
through inside information can grab an invader.
Yeah,
just like anything else.
The runesmiths can bring them back if they need to.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of a lateral move to bring back an invader, but there might be a instance in which it's important to have that extra faction symbol or something.
Right.
All right, so then...
Yeah, Meda's attacking, but it took a while to get all 3 dice out.
Yep.
But so I did 1 wound. I would have preferred 2, so Luke's door was in killable range from another attack from her. Now this may look silly Billy because Meda is just like out in the open, but I do have the daddy. I'm scared.
So you can always run away.
Yeah, so like I'm forcing him to move in such a way that I play the card. Like I'm forcing him to make me play that card. Otherwise, Meda's going to just
sit there and keep shooting
stuff.
Yeah,
and always have the ability to use it.
Yep.
So,
and unless KC has the ability to get some ranged units out like runesmiths, Matt can sit where he is all day, and he can't be hit. Basically, what Casey would have to do is set up a runesmith somewhere above Con Carne, maybe, and then shoot from there. So when Meta moves, she's still moving in range of the runesmith, but that play is impossible currently because Casey doesn't have the magic or the positioning for that kind of a play. But that's kind of what you have to do when Little Meda can use Daddy I'm Scared. You kind of have to get her in a position where she can't run out of your range. But Matt's positioned really well right now so that he can't move Lucastor up there in the correct position to be able to do that.
Right. No range can hit me at this point.
Inside info goes down, though.
Yeah, another inside info.
Looking for that, specifically the Daddy Loves Me. Because
that would be a great steal.
Because Little Meda's at 2 wounds.
Yep, currently a 1/3 chance at it. 9 cards in my deck.
Yeah, I think it's 9 cards plus those 3, so it's 1/4.
So 1/4 is 25% chance of snagging the Daddy Loves Me right here, but that would be very scary for me.
Yep, Frank did not get it, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, because of the ownership or something on the cards, we can't view them from here, so I can't.
Yeah, I think it was that he didn't want to put them back on top of the deck face up because then it tells you what he put down.
Oh, face up, right.
Yeah. So he turned them face down so that when he puts them back, he doesn't forget and do it wrong. Because occasionally we all mess up on that. It's hard to play with an open hand and remember to turn them face down before putting them into Magic.
Actually, that's a good point because earlier it told me in the text that KC had discarded Daddy Doesn't Like You. So I knew that that's what he stole the last time.
Yeah.
So I'm already working under the assumption that I'm down 1.
Yep.
So he doesn't want to make that mistake the second time because that's a big deal knowing the cards. So that was a bit unfortunate that I learned that that's what he stole from me. So yeah, I'm sure what's going on. It's he doesn't want to show me what he's taking and putting back on the deck.
Exactly. So he's taking his time trying to figure out exactly what he needs to take here. This is sped up dramatically, believe it or not. And here we go. He decides.
I mean, it's a tough turn. Farrah is a very think-heavy deck, and it's very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love her theme so much.
I'm noticing here. So I mean, just so everyone else sees this, when Con Carne is undercover, he's blocking with Con Carne as like a big unkillable unit or unattackable unit that can be
right. But keep in mind, Con Carne is not undercover.
Right now, yeah. I'm just saying in general. Earlier this game, that's such a cool tactic to use him as basically a wall that your opponent can't shoot through.
Right.
Luke's door is running up around and not able to be hit by any of these mutant. The Tusk mutant, for example, can't hit him. So that's really incredible right now. He's got the Rune Smith near Con Carne there, so that anytime he wants to discard, for example, disguise or undercover or something like that, he can just discard those freely, and it comes back to his hand instead of getting rid of them. It's really cool to watch KC play this deck because it is definitely how it was meant to be played.
Exactly, and there's notice there's Con Carne is now right in front of a Runesmith, so he can potentially betray all his wounds onto the Runesmith, then bring that disguise back into his hand, and the Runesmith has already served his purpose. Con Carne gets to keep his health, And I'm a little just from seeing the ability go down once already, I'm a little paranoid about him lasting. So I'm putting a lot of thought into this turn to see if there's any way I can reasonably kill the Runesmith and get some good swings at Con Carne.
Yeah.
Is how I'm trying to picture this turn.
Without putting meta in too much risk, I'm sure is the...
And I also want to keep my Tusk Mutant alive. So,
yes.
Because I'm really scared of that getting used against me in the end game here. And I think denying mutants at this stage in the game where I have a deck lead and a very similar economy going, I think any chance I can deny him 2 magic in favor of myself is just a wise decision.
Yep. Even if it's an expensive mutant like the Tusk Mutant.
Yeah, because considering my economic lead, it's not a great loss for me to have to pay a little bit more to keep that out of his hands. So I'm going to take a sip of this tea.
You just got to be able to make sure you have enough commons to keep playing the mutants. That's the only thing with meta that you really have to worry about in the end game is, have I used up all my commons, or am I good? Can I keep denying my own mutants? Because every time you deny a mutant, you do actually lose a common, a 0 cost common. So.
Yes, that's the other thing to keep in mind. I'm actually starting to worry about that a little bit.
Yeah.
In this
because you drew so many so early.
I drew so many. I might have built one. It's just.
Well, occasionally you have to build a couple, but you only have 10. So, in the base deck.
Well, no, you have 6 and 6. You have 12.
Oh, you have 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You have 12.
I always get this wrong. You have 12.
12 plus the 8 mutants plus Nanny. That's the 21. The 21 cards, unit cards in Meta's deck. That's the way I think about Filth, is 21 units.
Yes, as opposed to 18 commons and 3 champions, because it can be any combination of that, pretty much. So
interestingly, I don't think that works with taking mutants out. I think you have to have... I think the mutant can take the place of a champion or a common.
Yes.
So you need 3 champions, one mutants filling in for the champion specifically. If
you couldn't play with
21 commons or something.
all anointed and
which would be terrible anyway.
Yeah,
but,
10 anointed and 10 heralds and then a lone death seeker. That's painful to think about.
What kind of deck is that? Well, it's not possible, for one thing. But so after long deliberation, here's my decision. I'm going to use the gas filled here on the Tusk, and that will do a wound to Con Carne.
You don't have to pay anything for the gas mutant to be summoned,
right? Because
it was summoned onto a more expensive unit,
right? But what I was gonna say is Casey still has the option to either take the wound with Con Carne or put it on the Runesmith, in which case to roll for it. Okay, so Con Carne's taking it because he doesn't want to betray the Runesmith now before my attacks have even begun. He doesn't want to just kill off the Runesmith. So now what I'm doing is, it's still my summon phase. So I'm actually using the only other mutant I have, the Amoeba himself. I'm summoning him there for 3. This is a very expensive turn for me to do this. I might have been a little over paranoid about Con Carne, but I think this ended up just being a better move than just attacking Con Carne with what I had out. So you'll see the full. This turn took a while to lay out because I do a little swap in my summons. Yeah. And whatnot here, just because it's still the summon phase.
Well, it's an incredibly important turn.
Yeah.
How you place these units and where you move, because you only have 3 moves, but you have to be able to keep Nanny and Meta close enough that the Daddy I'm Scared can get played in a pinch, and you can't get surrounded from some other unexpected side. It's a trickier turn than it looks.
Right. So at first, what I'm thinking is, I'll say Herald hopefully goes 2 for 2, doing 1 wound. Potentially 2 if both the hits are the same number, and then Meta can finish Con Carne. But then I'm looking at my hand, and I'm like, well, I have a Death Seeker, which is just better odds at doing 1 wound than the Herald is. So I can use the Death Seeker instead to do the wound. So I would just have to, so I could put the Death Seeker on the spot where my Tusk Mutant was.
Yeah.
Because that's still an open summon point. So I'm thinking about that before I do anything wild.
This is actually important to note too. Lucastor can fly over things, and Matt wasn't thinking about that this game because the ability about him not being able to be shot by the commons is a more interesting part of his ability because nothing else has been or sliced, whatever, melee commons can't attack him is something we haven't seen before, so it was what everyone kind of focused on. But he's still got normal flight, and that's really big for certain movement, certain moves to be set up. So if, for example, Lucastor wasn't on that position where he is, if he was still in Casey's hand, if you summoned him on that forward wall on the right and flew him up between Nanny and Meda, that would be the end for Meda. It would be very hard for Meda to get back to Nanny or to get to safety. So as a meta player, you just have to be thinking about ways in which you can be separated from Nanny. And so flying cards are much more important in that matchup, I think, than they would normally be, because flying cards have the ability to get behind Meta even before Daddy I'm Scared would be triggered.
So this is what I decided on. Eventually, I have so Death Seeker did hit Con Carne. That was big. My Amoeba Mutant had already taken care of the Runesmith. That's why I summoned him.
Yep.
And then Meta finished off Con Carne. So that ended up being a pretty good turn there. I have 3 magic now, and the Tusk Mutant safe and sound in my hand.
Yep.
Probably just throw him right on the magic pile this turn. By taking the wounds off him first, because I think he kept the wounds when I put him back in my hand.
Yeah.
I throw that in there. I can use Daddy I'm Scared just fine. Now, what I'm worried about here, I'm very worried that that Death Seeker and that Herald are my last commons in the game, because I haven't been effectively counting. So I actually did a little bit of a count in my discard, and I reached the maximum for one of the commons and very near the other, just with known information.
Yeah.
So I was very worried that some of them might have been in my magic, and I could have checked, but it takes so long. So,
and it would definitely alert your opponent that you're worried about something being in your magic.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other big thing.
Where in real life you can check that so quickly and easily.
What I'm really hoping for this turn is that he can't kill both my commons and the Amoeba. That's what I'm most terrified about this turn, is that the Amoeba will die and that both my commons will die. I know the Death Seeker can be hit, but that would mean, like, right now I'm thinking, then that Lurker is stopped and he won't hit Little Meda because I'll just run away. He's not attacking the Amoeba that way if he's moving next to the Death Seeker. And if KC knows something I don't about the last remaining commons as well that I haven't counted, then he could just... so that Changeling just became a Heavy Knight. So now I'm really worried. I'm like, oh shoot, if he knows the Death Seeker, the Herald, and the Amoeba are all I've got, and it's just Nanny and Meta for the rest of the game, then I'm pretty much done.
Yep.
So I'm worried. I'm very worried about that happening. The
Disguise Undercover goes down on the Lurker.
And that's another important thing to note, is because of the Runesmiths, the disguises and undercovers are getting constantly recycled, so I'm never finished with those.
Yep. The Runesmiths are very important to Farrah's deck. I would think no matter what deck you're building, you definitely want a couple Runesmiths in there.
Yep.
They're just really nice.
Oh, absolutely.
All the other commons you could maybe change in and out, but the Runesmiths are so important.
Not the Changelings either.
Yep, those would be the two.
Or the Invaders. I say the Invaders are actually one of the most important as well, because of how they go off the undercover.
Especially combined with Band Together and things like that. But I could imagine other cards being useful, like the Invaders. But the Runesmiths serve a function that is so unique, you kind of can't take them out easily. At least I think.
Yeah, that's true. Although I've definitely played some games with only one use of Undercover Agent, and that feels fine.
That makes sense too.
What I like with the Runesmiths is to put them on Changelings, so then you just keep having a Changeling influx. Now I'm very happy here that Nanny did take both of those hits, but it wasn't my Herald, because I'm just not sure if I have other commons. So I need that Herald to become something, and I need it to become something like right now.
Yep. You got 4 magic left, which
Yep.
Does cover most of the mutants that you could be playing. So
I just haven't drawn into most of them, so this is probably where I'm going to get some.
Yep.
I can see them, but I'm like, oh yeah, my hand needs to be flipped because it just
Undercover.
needs to be flipped anyway because that's how we're filming this. I was just looking at my cards. So I messed up for a second, and now everything's stabilized.
So you get the Springy, the Drool, and the Blood Spray. Mm-hmm. Those are all 3 great mutants. So in their own right. Go with the Drool for the high attack on the Heavy Knight, which is probably wise. And the Heavy Knight cannot kill it in one turn, which is excellent as well. Man, that Springy mutant, though. I love that mutant.
Yep. Springy mutant, interestingly, can be used both for you very well and against you very well.
Yes.
If it's a blocker, it can be moved out of the way of an attack. And if you're going for an assassination, you can shoot it spaces ahead to get it in range. Springy, it's really cool.
It just has so much health. It's for its cost.
Yeah, no,
so much life for its cost.
The Drool mutant, I'm not actually too familiar with its ability, to be honest. I just see 4 attack, and I'm like, summon that.
It's as powerful as Grognak.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's what I needed to kill this Heavy Knight.
That's true. I mean, you do want as much attack as possible, because if you just rolled poorly on that Heavy Knight, you could be in a terrible position for this next turn. Because the Heavy Knight could definitely kill Nanny next turn, and then you could be hit for a bunch on meta, potentially. All right, it's asking how many cards are in Casey's hand. 2. And that is almost it for Casey's deck, down to 2 cards versus Matt's 6. But as we remember how this was originally, or just a little while ago, Casey only had 10 cards and 1 in Magic or something like that, and Matt had 7 in Magic and 16 cards. It was a big gap. Casey has closed it, very nearly anyway. So this is really cool to see Farrah come back here economically to not be in such a bad position.
Yep.
Farrah herself really has not seen any action this game, which is something that I'm sure when you all see Farrah get played will not always be the case. When I've played Matt when he was playing Farrah, Farrah was killing a lot of actually probably killed the majority of my units that Matt killed were Farrah specifically killing them. She can be a very strong attacking summoner or just a very hard to kill summoner when you get up in her face. So interesting summoner. I really like her.
Yep.
Her ability is just so.
Oh, that was fascinating because I almost missed that Heavy Knight, which would have been the game most likely.
2 with Nanny and then 1 with the Drool mutant. 1 out of 4, and the first 3 were the misses.
Yeah,
that was scary. Yeah, that would have been the game almost.
Oh
assuredly.
yeah, so here KC does me a really nice favor because I just was shooting at the lurker just because it was really late, and I just wasn't. It takes me a while to scroll over each card to see what's underneath it, so I just wasn't thinking about it as an undercover this turn, that lurker. So I moved her. I would have moved her exactly right here if I knew that was undercover. So he did let me take that back.
Yeah, did you a solid and let you?
Yeah, absolutely. So very thankful for that because now I would have shot that changeling had I been thinking about the undercover there.
Because you're still in a position here where you can, Daddy, I'm scared away.
Right.
Which is good. All right, so let's see. You can build probably the Drool, or the Blood Spray and the Springy, maybe?
Yeah, probably build both mutants.
So you can always get them back. Having the Drool out is great. It is a little bit squishy for its cost. It's kind of easy to kill.
Yeah, I wonder if I should definitely just build the Springy. I'm not sure why I haven't done that.
You might in a second, actually.
I told Casey
turns.
I told him it was his turn.
So one turn in this game you still built something and you say, actually wait one more before he did anything new, but it might not have been this turn. Yeah. I remember because I just edited it not that long ago.
Yeah.
So all right, yep. So he's already moving, so nope, not this turn. Bringing Farrah in a little closer to the action, trying to keep her from being in easy range of anything big, though, which is wise. You don't want to get Farrah clobbered right away, and then.
I know why I didn't build. The springy. I mean, I should have just done it in order, but I'm pretty sure I was thinking I didn't want to take the magic back and do it again. But I built the blood spray first, and I want the blood spray next turn. I could have just reversed the order, and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
It actually would have been better to build both of them, because here's what I'm doing. Casey asked me if I was going to use the event. I wasn't going to use it until after the attack phase.
Yep.
So I'm using Daddy, I'm Scared, my last one, and this is a gamble play here. I'm moving him next to Luke's store because if I draw the daddy doesn't like you.
Yeah.
I just kill him and then he's gone. Doing the 3 wounds to him, and I have a 4. I had 6 cards left, so I had 4. And
67% chance to draw, and you did not get it.
I didn't get it.
OPP, he says.
Yeah.
So didn't get that. Did get the
so
leech
now
mutant.
I'm a bit concerned with where Meta is.
Yep.
Because that was my last daddy. I'm Scared. I know I can move her right back to Nanny. Like if they both take a movement, I can just do that.
But yeah, what you're still not thinking this turn, and for our audience, is you're still not thinking about Luke Store's ability to fly over things.
Yeah,
this is a really important moment.
I just wasn't thinking about that at all. I'm just like, he's flying because thematically I can't hit him with melee attacks.
Yeah, but the
not because
flight,
he's flying over things.
Yep, that doesn't factor in, but it does.
Yeah.
It very much does.
Mm-hmm.
So band together in the hand there. That's a little scary as well for Matt if he's not thinking about it. But he gets the blood spray back.
Oh, my other event is the
I want a new toy.
No, that's that one. The
okay.
one this it's called. It says Magic Overload on this version, but what it really is look what I can do is what is what the event's actually called. So I'm trying to suck up all of KC's magic.
Yep.
I do take this back because I'm going to use it, but I take it back slightly because I don't have all the cards out that I want.
He meant to summon first, which means that Casey won't actually be able to take all 3 of those if he doesn't have 3 cards in his hand, 3 mutants in his hand. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. He'll still get a couple of magic from Casey, and then he'll be in a safer position because Casey won't be able to summon anything 2 magic or higher.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. And I do have the Leech mutant in there. The Leech can suck up some stuff.
Looks like he crashed out again.
Yeah.
Just a little bit finicky sometimes.
It's interesting the drawing to the hands is what does it on my vassal. It can't handle that eventually, drawing to the actual hand segments.
Also, this game was just 2 hours and 40 minutes long, so it had lots of chances to crash out.
Yeah. But I noticed it doesn't crash out at all if I just put my hand on the board.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Put your hand on the side of the board or something.
Yeah.
All right, so you go ahead and you summon that Death Seeker. The blood spray goes on it there, and then you're going to pay for it and take Casey's magic again here, but not all of it.
Yeah, now because I played the blood spray, I don't have the ability to take all that magic.
Can only take 2 of it.
So at first I'm thinking, I'll just take it all, of course, because I did before.
Yeah.
But I don't have a mutant in my hand anymore to equal 3.
Yeah, so Casey will correct you on it in a second, and then you'll give it back to him.
Joe also lets me know that I can't do that.
Yeah. Joe, our resident filth expert.
Yeah, exactly. Joe saw a lot of these turns before, like the gas filled. Joe told me he was like, I almost cringed when he didn't play the gas-filled mutant on
the Tusk in the very beginning of the game. Yeah. Joe hasn't even hardly played these decks, but he's already better at that one than us. Mm-hmm. He just thinks like they do.
Yeah.
Thinks like the filth.
Thinks like the filth.
But yeah, anyway, so he's going to go for a blood spray here on Lucastor without realizing exactly how dangerous that is.
Yeah, so it's funny, I'm asking him for a very specific reason how many mutants there are, because I'm trying to calculate if there's one more mutant in my draw pile so I can take full advantage of the overload. In case he just knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's like, I don't think any are left in the draw.
Yeah.
So I can't use I want a new toy, and I realize that too. I can't use it to get. So if I want the blood spray out, I'm just going to have to deal with only 2 magic.
Yep.
I wanted to take all 3 so that he didn't have a chance to... Like, the way it is now, looking at his hand from this perspective, he can just summon everything in his hand.
Yep.
So the magic I took from him was irrelevant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This just makes me... Yeah, it's this turn right here. When I was editing this, man, this is the scariest thing in the world. If this blood spray doesn't hit Lucastor right now...
Well... It actually ends up...
I know the way it ends up, but yeah, we'll show them that in a second. The Lucastor, though, if it wasn't hit by the blood spray, could fly behind Little Meda.
No, I'm saying it can't fly behind Little Meda because Nanny gets to that space.
I know that. That's what I was saying. That's what, yeah, I'm saying.
Okay.
But honestly, though, this is we'll get there in a moment. You all will see this. So Nanny's going to go up there thinking that it can attack that undercover lurker. She just can't. But the blood spray is going to attack Lucastor and hits it. Thank goodness for Matt. But yeah, so if Matt obviously wouldn't have moved the Nanny there if he'd realized that was undercover. He just wasn't thinking about that. It was late. We were making a couple mistakes. We've forgiven mistakes on both sides a little bit, so it was not. We weren't quite as strict as we normally were about nothing happens after dice are rolled. You can't take back anything. But normally that's how we would play. Is once dice are rolled, any mistake is just over. So yeah, we tell Matt, yeah, Nanny can't attack that. But if the blood spray had missed, and we hadn't let Matt take back the Nanny's move, that would have been probably game for Little Meda. It would have been easy to summon it. Yeah, Invader and Lucastor would have flown behind 4 for 3, and that would have been that. Just because of Lucastor's ability to fly over the wall. Mm-hmm. That's what's important to note about that situation. So. Yep. You got to be thinking about those things as meta.
Yeah.
Those possible ways to separate you.
And it's actually 5 to hit 3, right? And that last card is that
band together.
Yeah, band. Well, what's that last card?
Might be a disguise.
Another disguise. If it's another disguise, it's even more.
Yeah, it has 6 to hit 3 or something.
Yeah, it's actually 6 to hit 3.
Oof. Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I end up moving Nanny.
Yeah, and that works out all right.
Yeah, I don't love that just because. The Invader comes out and then probably kills Nanny, maybe. Yep. But then I get to kill that Invader, so... And I do still have some deck.
Yep.
I have some high health mutants out. I believe I have another common in the deck too, so I have at least one more big mutant to play this game.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure... Little Meda is the only thing, along with that blood spray currently. I guess Nanny. I guess I have 3 out of 4 things on the board that can hit Lucastor, but they're all out of position to do so, except for the blood spray. And I don't want Little Meda to be flying solo against Lucastor.
No, not at this point in the game with Nanny with 4 wounds. Yeah. That's very scary. Well, you do have a daddy doesn't like you coming up, so that's which of course. Casey knows about. Yeah. Casey would know about even if he didn't count the cards in your deck. He would know because your hand.
Yeah,
He'd be able to just see
exactly.
So interesting how that card affects everything. The undercover agent.
Yep. So yeah, I'm scared here because band together it could kill my blood spray mutant. So I really don't. I don't want that to happen at all because that's. Again, my ranged attacker to hit Lucastor. So it's very much a sacrificial mutant right now. I just wanted to do a little bit more damage to Lucastor before he goes down.
Yep.
And now the undercover coming out again.
So finally the undercover down.
And disguise on Lucastor. So now, that would have been bad had Lucastor not been moved out of the way and the Nanny not blocking off that space.
Yep, that would have been big.
Yeah,
that would have been a big move. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, the blood spray hit was the big.
Now some of you might be thinking, alternatively, if I moved the blood spray mutant down one more space, I could have shot at Lucastor and then shot at Lucastor again with Little Meda.
Yep.
For a 4 for 3 that turn.
Yep.
I was worried because if I missed, then Farrah can come up and just kill the blood spray.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was the blood spray just got surrounded by Band Together this turn anyway, so that's about a similar amount of dice. So it's I wasn't thinking about that quite the same way, but I did force out the last Band Together at least doing
that's
this.
Big, yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's actually it's good for you because the last Band Together could have been used on any of your the Tusk mutant or Spring mutant or something else. It's nice to get that out of the way now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's pretty much Casey's last big trick with Farrah to get a whole bunch of dice on something.
Right. And here comes... Oh, my amoeba should be back in my hand here. We'll probably fix that. The amoeba that was spent should go back to my hand.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. You can have amoeba back.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Alrighty, and then band together attacks on the blood spray.
So yeah,
lots of misses.
So that was very nice for me that it was a lot of misses. So that was what am I? Oh, I'm like thinking. I'm thinking the invader couldn't have had that many dice, but Luke's store is disguised. So it got
4 dice instead of its normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like 3 or less.
Right.
So now he's got a decision here. I think the obvious thing is the lurker to attack, and then Luke Estor to shoot through if it can at Little Meda, maybe killing Nanny. But yeah, Casey just dropped out for a second.
Yeah. So we both got disconnected during this game.
And apparently I was away from my computer
back
for a couple minutes getting food. Yeah. It was a long game. There we go. Lurker hits the blood spray.
So the lurker
3 sixes.
So the lurker made up for it. So that was what was supposed to happen to the blood spray that turn. So that I'm happy for that because otherwise it would have felt a bit. I would have felt a bit tainted in pursuing this next turn here. So that was good. Now Little Meda takes a hit.
Yep. So if Little Meda takes a hit here, then she's just going to take it because she doesn't want to kill Nanny.
Yep.
Which is wise.
Nanny still has a job to do.
Trying to keep you safe on that side in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're trying to decide with the cards you have left, how will you hold out? And all Casey has left is Mingle and only 2 magic. It's kind of hard to get Mingle out at this point.
Yeah, and what I'm worried about is that there is a
Runesmith.
There's a Runesmith. Yeah. In which case, then the Runesmith has the potential to go 2 for, like, if I shoot Luke's door and kill Luke's door, because otherwise that would just be a 2 for 2 opportunity. So if I shoot and kill Luke's door, I'm worried that a Runesmith can be summoned and it's like from the wall, and then just run up, and then the lurker takes off. It's undercover, goes 1 for 1 on Nanny, and then the Runesmith goes 2 for 2 on Little Meda. That's what I'm scared of because I just haven't counted because of all the changelings and everything being shuffled around. I'm not sure how many Runesmiths are available or like what's left, but it turns out they're all dead.
Yeah, which is good for you. So he has nothing left with 2 attack that's easy to get out. Mingle is just obviously not going to come out soon, and Farrah herself is just too far away from the action to really add anything soon. So we're discussing how base meta is a little bit difficult with Luke's door. But that's good. That's what he's meant for. That's
exactly. And I think like based on how close this game has been, I think that's a great testament to how these base decks go against each other.
Yeah.
Because I've been killing everything but Luke's door, and Luke's door has been killing everything of mine. So it's working out nicely, and the invaders are popping out, and everything's coming to get the events being recycled. It's just awesome to see.
Springy's coming out here. We're gonna see the Springy Mutant.
Yep.
And which is fun because it just has a lot of health, a lot of life there for the cost, and then a bunch of attack.
Yep.
So, and then its ability is interesting. You can do a lot with it potentially. It's a good late game mutant because it's just hard to kill, especially with Band Together gone. So, all right, it's going to go for that invader. Get rid of those attack dice, which is wise. And then, moving Little Meda back.
So this was
Definitely
just
wise.
a...
Spring to invader, and that's the last invader. So you don't have to worry about some undercover play and then summoning off of that to hit Little Meda.
Yep. That is
which would have been possible if there had been more invaders. So,
my last card, I believe, is Daddy Doesn't Like You. I don't know why I have it flipped that way.
Oh yeah, you probably just hadn't noticed it. At this point in the night, it was just so late that we weren't always thinking of the little details.
Right.
Fortunately, the game's strategy didn't suffer too much. All right.
Yep. So here comes
moving Luke's door up there. Keeping him near the action. he has to probably risk Luke Store dying because he just doesn't have anything else.
Yep.
So if Little Meda misses, though, he still gets the chance at Little Meda with Luke Store. Farrah's coming up to do her thing as well, but she can't reach the action quickly, so Luke Store's just going to have to stall for time.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh yeah, Daddy doesn't like you. There we go. He can still see your hand, so he needed to know.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And then trying to figure out exactly how this turn should go. Yep, Luke just shoots the wall. Gets a couple wounds on there, or a wound on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just waiting out to see what Matt's rolls look like.
Yep.
Because that's what's really important at this point.
Yep. Still keeping that lurker under cover to block off that spot in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning if I want to kill Luke Store, I have to throw Meda down there. And then Nanny is going to most likely have to follow her, otherwise Little Meda is just going to get boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then the same thing with the lurker can still then kill Nanny and then have something go 2 for 2 on Meda.
Yeah, and I have a terrifying blood spray mutant that's just not doing anything over there right now.
Yeah, or the drool mutant.
Yeah, drool. I always say blood spray because it just looks like it's
I agree.
spraying its spit everywhere, but it's not blood. It's just drooling.
So yeah, that drool mutant's not doing anything, but the tusk just came out again.
So interestingly, that is deceptive because the tusk. I only have to spend 2 magic. I only spent 1 so far just because of the lag time on my end, but I'll spend that last one. But it's deceptive that I only have to spend 2 for it because I already had the 3 cost mutation down.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. And it's exactly 3 spaces away from Farrah.
Yeah, exactly. so I get a nice big Savage Gore turn.
We've all been waiting for it.
Yeah, here it comes.
5 attack with 5 life.
Come to Tusky.
Farrah's going to try to leap out of the way here.
You got some peanuts?
It's like a giant angry elephant that we're going for.
Yeah, it was an elephant. If that was unclear. So
here we go. Yep. Meta's moving forward to take care of Luke Store.
I say here goes the world.
Yeah,
Meta to Luke Store.
This is the important roll.
And I got him.
Yep.
That was big.
3 for 3. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
For you, that's big. Yeah, because that was his last chance at going 3 for 3 to win the game next turn. All right. And now here's the big fun.
Yeah.
Tusk mutant.
Oh, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5. That
exactly.
Ouch.
In a nice little order there. I don't know if you noticed that ascending and then descending. 4, 5, 6, 5, 4.
Oh, that's
just very nice and orderly. How it savagely gored her. She did not make it out of the way of that one in time. She took the full force of that.
Yeah. Oh, so here I am still worried about that Rune Smith that just doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
I can still lose on a 3 for 3.
Yep, but there's no way for Casey to do that next turn, and he can't get Farrah up close enough to Little Meda to finish this off.
Specifically worried about Rune Smiths because I counted everything else. It's just the Rune Smiths I just am not sure about.
But if Farrah was 1 space closer, she could do the job herself. She's just not. And she's so weak now, and there's no band together, so there's very little chance he's going to be able to kill the Tusk or get Farrah close enough.
Yep.
So this is, from this point on, pretty hopeless looking.
Yep.
That 5 for 5 was huge.
Yeah.
Never is a 5 for 5 not huge, but that was a really important one.
Yep. So it's the other interesting thing to note here is that because both the units left are lurkers.
Yep.
One lurker happens to have my faction symbol, as well as its own. But so that's only 1-2 extra attack that Farrah gets. So there's no way to kill the Tusk mutant this turn.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yep. Yeah, and everyone's wrong about it for a second. There we go. He has 4 attack on the Tusk.
Yeah.
Which is big because without being able to kill it, there's very little point to really attacking it. Mm-hmm. He's pretty much just in a bad spot at this point. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the gas mutant is. Can the gas mutant hit Farrah?
Yeah,
I believe it can.
Wounds everything, I believe. Yep.
So wounding it is almost more dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know where the gas mutant is in your stuff, but if it's in your pile or his, imagine it'd have to be in yours somewhere.
If that Tusk mutant is attacked, I was an idiot not to do that. If that's the case,
I'm pretty sure it is too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's attacked. I can't remember that. That's okay. I mean, you still had great odds,
Yeah.
but you would have 100% odds, which is always better than something else.
Yeah.
So,
Lurker,
Lurker goes ahead and kills Nanny.
Yeah.
Lurker tries to hit Meda, doesn't get anything. And then Farrah to Tusk and gets
that's the move to make for sure. That's just the game.
Yep, pay for the gas mutant with Meda and go for it if you had the ability to do so.
Yeah, I had to have because it's either in my magic or in my discard.
Yep.
It's not anywhere else.
Yep. So,
wow, I can't believe I missed that. That's like the stuff I live for is those like 100% unexpected things.
but you still have a million dice to get this done.
Yeah.
So, there we go. Switching around for the drool.
Instead, I switch out for the drool.
Nice, like 96 or 8% chance to hit or something like that. So, yeah, you're pretty solid at this point. But anyway, and then move away with Meda, probably wise, and move up with the spring. So at this point,
well, this was another mistake too. I have Daddy Doesn't Like You in my hand.
Yeah, you could have
I should have just killed the lurker.
Yeah.
None of this made sense on my part, so I apologize for that very poor last turn.
But the drool Drool to Farrah, no.
Oh, he's talking about discarding disguise.
Yes, and another 4 for 4.
Yeah, okay, so that was the end.
Farrah just taking lots of hits, but she did have 9 dice rolled on her, so really she should have lost either way. Based on rolls. Anyway, it was a really interesting game, though. A lot happened.
Joe's telling me why I didn't use Daddy Doesn't Like You.
Yeah.
More importantly, I think until now we hadn't commented on the gas field. That was the obvious play.
Well, just having we got to see in this game a lot of events get used, which is really cool. We got to see the runesmiths in their on the top of their game, unlike when we previewed them earlier. You really got to see both of these decks in action, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, me too. Very exciting.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
SummoNerds out.